Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mac and Talk number 56 for Tuesday, March 26th, 2024. I am glad that you're joining us tonight, and I am your host, Chanelle Allen. Mac and Talk is an open forum Q&A conference call for anyone with Mac questions. Whether you are trying to get started learning voiceover and need some encouragement or pointers in the right direction, or maybe you have been using the Mac for a while, but have a question about an app or feature, or you could even just be trying to decide, is this Mac really for me? For whatever reason, I am so glad you are joining us tonight or later on via the podcast recording. I'd like to extend a special welcome to our current students. If you want more details about the iBug Mac training course, you can head over to our website, which is ibugtoday.org. And that's the first thing I will talk about. It's a great way to learn about everything we offer and what we do. And most importantly, you can register to become a member. Membership is free. Participation in all events, whether training or social, is free. And I know I am going to forget to say something tonight. So if you know the website, you'll be able to find all the information you need. We also offer, well, first of all, on that website, there is a link called Mac and Talk. And if you go there, you will find my contact info. You'll also find a bit of information about the Mac training class. But there is an email discussion list where you can ask questions about using the Mac in between these sessions. It's not too active, but we'd love to be able to help you with your questions. And you'll also find my contact info. Moving on to social media. If email is really not your thing, well, we are on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/ibugtoday. In addition to containing all of our announcements, it's a great interactive way to keep in touch with people between calls and ask questions. We are also on X. There, I remember the correct name this time. And Instagram at ibugtoday. Our announcements are faithfully posted to X by our X master, Herbie Allen, who also posts lots of Mac how-to guides and Apple news, rumors, deals, and more. If you tend to use YouTube a lot and would like to look us up there, you certainly can. Search for the iBug Today channel. What's great about our channel is things are divided up into playlists. So we have a playlist for the last iBug Mac training course. You can also subscribe to our podcast if you don't want to deal with the videos, which we don't actually use video, but they're just up there as videos. But if you like podcast apps or smart speakers, you can just ask for iBug Buzz, iBug Mac and Talk, iBug Apple Workshop, and most importantly, iBug Mac and Talk. I think I said that. Anyway, one of those things, you'll be able to subscribe and hear our workshops. As far as events this week, we are winding down this month, but we still have things for you to enjoy. On Thursday, okay, so first of all the times I'm going to say are in Central. And if you were able to get into Mac and Talk tonight, you have the Zoom meeting ID and passcode to get into any of our other meetings. On Thursday, we have It's iBug's Life from 7 to 9 p.m., facilitated by George Batiste, an adaptive living skills instructor. Our topic is spring cleaning, important for this time of year. On Friday, we have iBug Night at the virtual movies, and we have been doing this now for 4 years. We basically listen to the audio track of a movie, but we have featured several Best Pictures from the Oscars. And this week, we're going back to an older movie called Easter Parade. There is a pre-movie social filled with music and fun and nonsense, and that's at 7:15, followed by the movie at 8, and a discussion and trivia session afterwards. On Monday night, every Monday night, we have iBug Buzz. I kind of mentioned that earlier. That is a general Q&A help session for anyone with with iOS questions. We talk everything but the Mac. Today is Mac. Monday nights, it's everything else. So we'd love to see you there if you have questions about using your iPhone or other Apple devices. Next Tuesday night, we will have the iBug, I don't know, iBug Mac Buzz. There's so many different titles. We have over 21 events per month, but that takes place from 5 to 6 p.m. and is facilitated by Herbie Allen. That's the first and third Tuesdays of the month. So if there's a question that didn't get adequately addressed here or something comes up, you're welcome to join us next week. Oh, yes, we have our iBug $500 tech shopping spree. So if you want to enter a chance, to win some tech or to win some money to spend at your favorite tech store, you can just donate $10 to iBug today. $10 will purchase you one ticket. $50 will get you 6 tickets and 6 chances to win. And winners will be announced at our iBug anniversary celebration on May 24th. Okay, that is all of our announcements. And now what we like to do is go around the room and everyone will say who you are and where you're calling from. And if you're joining us for the first time, let us know that as well. I am Chanelle in Houston.
Robert, Chandler, Arizona, first time.
Welcome, Robert.
This is Desi in Tennessee.
Welcome, Desi.
This is Herbie in Houston.
Welcome, Herbie and Anicio. I think I heard.
From Florida.
Great.
Pete, also
Misty
from Florida.
Hagan from New Jersey.
Welcome, Pete, and welcome, Misty. Glad to have you both.
Davita from Northern Virginia.
Welcome, Davita.
This is Marcy in Dallas.
Welcome, Marcy.
This is Jasmine Palmer from Michigan.
Welcome, Jasmine. And Brad.
Yeah, Brad in Dallas.
All right.
This is
Eli
Philomena
from California. Oh.
Okay, I heard Philomena.
From Florida.
Okay, lots of Floridians. Yeah, great. And Eli, I think.
Yep, Eli from California.
All right. I love living in California. Anyway, let's see. Was there anyone else?
Yeah,
Judy in Connecticut.
Okay, Judy, welcome. And who else?
Jesse from the mountains of North Carolina.
Oh, Jesse,
hey,
long time. Glad to have you back.
Thank you. This is Deanna in Illinois.
Welcome, Deanna.
In Young from Georgia.
Welcome, In Young. And I see Sean. Welcome, Sean. And all right, so now we like to ask people how they heard, if they're new. Robert, how did you hear about iBug today, and what do you have a Mac?
Yes, I have a Mac. I have a Mac, an old MacBook Pro. I bought in 2013.
Okay.
I heard about your website. There was a local support group in the Phoenix area at the Foundation for Blind Children, and they have a senior group called New Horizons. And somebody from iBug gave a presentation to their weekly meeting. And I was not able to attend that meeting, but I heard about it. And then I went to the website, and I had been to one or two of your talks, and I signed up for your newsletter, and I have to complete the membership application. So that's where I'm at. And I am visually impaired with age-related macular degeneration.
Well, we're glad to have you. There is no membership application except if you want to receive mentor training for using your iOS device, but we're glad you're here. And now, would anyone like to, I don't think there was anyone else new, except our students, which we're glad to have you. Does anyone, so now it's time for people to ask questions. The floor is open.
This is Davita. I'll start with a keyboard question.
All right, very good.
So I needed to replace, so I'm transitioning from a PC to a Mac, and I spelled something on my PC keyboard and had to replace it. I really like it. I do have one for my external for my Mac, but if I decided to switch at some point, I wanted to check. So I've got a control window and an alt key. Do the keys in the position that they exist on the keyboard become the comparable ones for the Macs? In other words, is my control key my finder key? Because I've been told that you can use a PC keyboard and just make that switch.
This is Eli.
Brad.
Okay, Eli and then Brad.
Let either guy go.
Oh, you're good. So, basically, to answer your question, the Windows key becomes the Command key, and the Alt key becomes the Option key. So they are actually inverted, and you won't have a function key on most external keyboards, just generally, unless you're actually picking up a Mac dedicated keyboard. So for PC, yeah, you've got Control, then Command, then Alt next to spacebar, and or Option next to spacebar. And it's not, I mean, it can cause a little bit of confusion if you're just getting started, I suppose. But
Okay.
yeah, those are the relationships.
I
It's
figured
Alt
I
is Option
wouldn't
and
do it. Right now I figure I got to keep my lines very well defined, to keep my life simple. But I just was curious as to if it was an option. Okay.
it's definitely an option.
Oh, I'm sorry. And Brad, did you have something else?
Well, actually, I was going to say, I was going to say what Eli said, but to follow up on Eli, you can find some external keyboards that do have an FN key. I have one, and I have seen them for sale in the store. It's not going to be in the same position it is on a Mac. On a Windows keyboard, it's usually between the control and the Windows key. And that one will remain your FN key. So, and it may be, if you don't have one, that also makes things simple because then your F keys just are standard F keys. I'm not sure what it does on a Mac if you use a
Okay.
Windows keyboard with an FN key,
Okay.
but anyway, you may or may not find one.
Okay.
Just go to your local Office product store and look around and see what they got.
This is Anicio.
Yes, Anicio.
So I use my Mantis keyboard, which is, I guess it's a Windows keyboard. And I'm pretty sure that my Alt is the Command key. Isn't that correct? Not the Option key?
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
I don't have any experience with a Mantis, but there are some keyboards, for example, some made by, oh God, why can't I say the name? It's on the tip of my tongue. Who makes the K380, for example? Logitech, thank you. That are capable of using either a Windows layout or a Mac layout. So I would assume that the Mantis is smart enough to figure out what it is connected to, and it will alter its keyboard layout. I used a K380. I have one, and I noticed the first time I connected it to, well, actually, it wasn't a Mac, it was another Apple device, and it was in a Windows layout. And after a few minutes, I noticed the keys changed. It figured out what it was connected to, and it assumed the Mac layout. So that's probably what the Mantis is doing. It may even have a switch on it someplace.
This is Marcy.
Yes, Marcy.
No, there is no switch, but yes, it does switch. The Alt key does become, it does figure it out. The Alt key does become your Command key, Anicio, just as you said.
Okay, yeah.
Because I connected the Mantis as well, and that's my behavior.
All right, very good. I think we're ready to move on to a different question. Who would like to ask?
Well, this is Philomena. I could go next.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question about pages. And I am used to, I really like to navigate my longer documents by headings. And what I do, I use the rotor and I navigate with the arrow keys to the headings category, and then I go up and down. And I liked it a lot and it was working fine until, I don't know, sometime before Christmas, I am no longer able to do so. Is anybody else running into the same problem? Does anybody else use Pages? I know a lot of people don't like it, but it was so neat to be able to really navigate a document that way. And that was the only reason that I actually got used to Pages.
Okay, who can help Philomena out?
Brad?
Yes, Brad?
I would think you want to make sure there are actually headings in the document. It's possible the document was created without headings.
No, I format some of these documents myself. Actually, some of them are left over from Microsoft Word before I switched to the Mac.
Can anybody tell me? Oh, go ahead, Brad.
Well, and how are you? You are making you're sure that you have quick nav turned on, correct?
Right, with the arrow keys, yes. Press them down at the same time.
Okay. Well, and then you change your rotor, of course, to headings, and then use your up and down arrow, right?
Up and down arrow keys, yeah. And
You might also try holding down your VO modifier and the command key, and press the letter H and see if that navigates. That should go, in a forward direction by headings, and if you hold the shift key down, it will go in a reverse direction. Of course, you could also turn on quick key navigation and try it that way too, but it's kind of the same thing. And see if that doesn't do it, then I would say it's something, and you're sure there's headings in the document.
Oh yes, absolutely. Because I was used to navigating them that way until something happened. And it was kind of after Christmas.
Sonoma?
I am updated and I got the latest update. Yeah. 14.4.1.
Is that when the issue began?
No, it was
okay.
No.
Then I don't know.
No, it's I'm going to have to spend some time with Apple accessibility, and I'm not looking forward to it.
Good luck on
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would give the VO Command H a try because that is and that means you don't have to turn quick nav on. It's more keys to press, but it makes navigation a little bit more reliable.
Okay.
But yeah, that's interesting.
And you know what else is interesting? When I took some of these headings and I bookmarked them, and I can navigate the document that way with from one bookmark to the next and to the next using the rotor, the quick keys, the quick nav. It will navigate the document by bookmarks, even if the bookmarks are in the same position as the headings. But it will not do it by heading. Isn't that weird?
There's another thing you could try doing, but I don't know. Well, you could always reset your voiceover settings to their default, at least temporarily, and see if the behavior is this. I would, back up your voiceover settings, and we kind of talked about this in class, but I could definitely go over it more. And so you could, save your current settings, but then just revert everything to the defaults and see what happens. And then we could determine is it a voiceover issue or is it a Pages issue?
Okay.
But that's just a thought. I don't know.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
It's a thought.
Like it.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
Good question to get us thinking, at least, even if we don't have an answer right away. Okay, who would like to ask the next question?
This is Pete with a question.
Yes, Pete, go ahead.
Back to Philomena's situation. Is there, and I don't know the answer to this, is there a way to add or remove items from your rotor on the Mac like you can in iOS? And could that have possibly occurred that where Philomena, you have removed headings from your rotor?
See, it works in Safari.
Oh, just Pages is the only culprit.
Mm-hmm. I can negotiate the same, for example, document, let's say a pattern. I am a knitter and I like to copy patterns from knitting websites. So I can navigate those documents very well in Safari. But then if I copy, format everything, put the headings in place, and then use the rotor in the same document, will not, the headings will not work.
Oh, I think Brad had a thought, and then I
Yeah, I
had
was going to say,
something.
well, she said she was turning on quick nav and then turning the rotor to headings. So if headings had been removed from the rotor, it would not be there for her to
Yeah.
set
That's
her
right.
quick nav onto headings. But that was a
And
good thing to think
I
about.
have a thought. Sometimes copying websites doesn't always, or things from a website doesn't always copy formatting. I mean, I would think it should, but
not necessarily. That's why I go ahead and go through the aggravation of applying the headings myself, just in case.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is a bit of a nuisance.
Yeah, I
in
would
Pages.
think.
It is, because there are no keyboard shortcuts.
Oh, there are. You just have to create them.
Yeah, but then they're document specific. Once you close out that document, you
No,
have
I
to
don't
create.
think so.
It has been the experience with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. The
Isn't it?
complexities of pages. Okay. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you. All right. Who would like to ask our next question?
This is Desi.
Okay, Desi, go ahead.
I am currently on Sonoma version 14.2.1, and I understand that we're up to 14.4, is it now?
Yes.
4.1.
And I I don't do this very often. I can't remember where to go get my update.
Oh, so who in our class? Because we just covered this topic. Can anyone from class tell us where we go?
To menus. You can press your VO plus M and then open your Apple menu. At least in mine, it will show updates in that Apple menu. But if not, then you can always go to your dock and go and with VOD and then type in SYS for system settings and go to when you land on system settings, then you can open up a menu with VO Shift M, and that will open a menu, and then you can start typing software. So type SO, and you should get software updates.
Very good. And then you press enter. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that's awesome.
Impressive.
Yeah, because
Good
I did
job. I
not.
think that was Deanna.
Deanna, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Deanna.
This
That
is
was
Desi.
great.
I did not. I did open my Apple menu, and I did not see anything about updates in there.
Yeah, I've
System
never.
settings and voiceover should say one update or something like that. But it may
Yeah,
not always show.
mine
Oh
does a
yeah,
lot
and
of
then I
times.
also did go into system settings, and it did not say anything
Yeah.
like that. So I thought, wait, I'm not remembering something about this. So
Yeah, that context menu is we emphasize that heavily in
yes,
class.
yes, yes.
That because
Thanks.
that'll really take you there. Yeah, great question though, and we already know that they have the answer to one of the focus questions for this week. So yay!
Good job.
All right, who would like to ask our next question?
I do have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
This is Deanna. I'm in notes, and when I go up to the menu bar and open up file, it says new folder, and then it says new smart folder. What is the difference?
Ah, okay. Can anyone explain a folder versus a smart folder?
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
So while I have not dealt with notes for good reason, if I know anything about how Apple does things, it's probably relying on either the tags or something equivalent to the tags where, let's say, if two files have like the same tag but they're in different locations, they will come together as a folder. So let's say, because like notes depends on like your mailbox account. So let's say in my CHM account, I'll create a smart folder called like Mac class, and I'll create something else in my Herbie.Allen account called Mac class. And theoretically, I would expect the smart folders to merge, even though they're two separate accounts, into one account. So that's what I think is going on.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, Brad?
Yeah, what Herbie's talking about, what it does is it allows you to create a folder using a set of criteria that you specify. So the folder might contain things like Herbie said that a tag is a uniquely Apple thing, where you
Yes.
can set a tag for a folder. It could be a color or a label that you give it, like travel expenses, whatever. You can create them, or there's some that are already created. But you could create criteria that could show you items that are in different folders. Now, in your notes, when you open it, you have three different panels or columns, whatever the tables. One table is folders, and you can have create folders that your notes are in. So this would allow you to create a smart folder that might show you items that are in different folders. You specify what it is, kind of like what Herbie was talking about with mailbox folders. He could specify a smart folder and then set the criteria for what things, what accounts, what other folders. I have one. I have mail that sends mail from different sources to pre-sort some of the different folders, but I have one called unread that will show me unread items regardless of where they are, because that's the criteria I set. So you are going through your existing notes folders and setting up criteria so that in one folder, it's a virtual folder. It doesn't really exist, but it's showing you items that are in other folders all together in one little tidy place where you can look at them all together.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
Eli.
That makes sense.
Yes, go ahead, Eli.
Yeah, so Deanna, to tie it to something that I know you've studied, it's very much so the same concept as Outlook search folders. So
Okay.
you could conceptualize it as basically a persistent search. So it's criteria that you specify ahead of time, and you go into that folder, and it pulls that information, whatever it might be, from all of the other locations. And yeah,
Okay.
so
All right. Well,
good
thank
stuff. No, yeah, it's a neat thing, and you will run into it in more than just notes and whatever. There's reminders. You can do the same thing, and it can be a really handy way to organize your information if you
Okay.
you have a fantastic folder structure, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
This is Herbie.
Great. Yes, Herbie.
I apologize for doing this, but we are in the middle of a class season, so I would like to know who is iPhone, please. If you could send them a prompt to unmute.
All right.
They need to make sure they're not a student. I do apologize, folks.
All right. Go ahead. You will need to get the OK button first, and hopefully you'll just get the unmute button and that'll take care of it. But otherwise, OK is if you find your mute button on the bottom left-hand corner and then swipe left, you will get to OK. All right. Well, let's go ahead and continue on the conversation. What?
This is Davita. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just on my phone is marked as Davita when I do class, so I just jumped from my desktop to my phone.
Okay.
All
So
right. Yep,
it
it's
could
Davita's in here
be
twice. Okay.
Okay.
yeah, so I just switched, but my phone should have had my name on it. So I apologize.
All
It's
right.
okay.
Just to avoid that, just make sure you're signed into your Zoom account on your phone, and that will ensure that won't happen. All right. Good. Sorry about that, folks. Okay.
Okay.
We can go back, not back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
this is if I've, on the topic of notes, this is Davita, and I did have a question.
Yep.
Why does everybody not like notes? And if there's, is there something that you recommend using instead that you find is better?
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
It's not that I don't like notes, it's just that text edit is a much more universal program that I can access my files from anywhere and have full access to. So if I want to access notes, for instance, on my Windows account, um, I have to make sure that the note is in the exist. I have to make sure that my mail accounts are on both on Windows and Mac. Where there's some mail accounts I just don't want to bother with on my Windows computer. Whereas if I do a file in text edit, I can just save it in Dropbox and have access to it anywhere.
Okay.
So, yes.
Yeah. Yes, Brad.
Comparing notes and an application like TextEdit is comparing apples to oranges. They're different. Notes is notes, and it's not a word processor. I use it for short things, but TextEdit is a very basic word processing application, and it allows you to save files, kind of like what Herbie's talking about, which are outside of the app, to a folder, and then they can be copied and you open in a completely different app. You can, in TextEdit, you could save to a Microsoft Word format or a plain text format or a number of other um, formats that are used by other basic word processing applications. Whereas Notes is Notes. I mean, a lot of people, it can be used for all
So,
kinds of things, but
so
you cannot.
if I started on my phone to do something and I text edit is not an iOS option.
No, it is not.
So
But
what would my
Notes
phone option?
Notes is Notes, and it's things you create in Notes are stored in the Notes app, and that is can be synced with iCloud, so that you can access Notes in any Apple device that you have signed into your iCloud account.
So let me ask
Now,
the reverse question. So if I wanted to start something on my phone and I wanted to have access to it on my Mac,
This
so
is
you're
Herbie.
saying
Yes,
this is Brad.
Herbie. Oh, Herbie, go ahead.
It really depends because the Notes app is still good. Like I do like it a little bit better on the phone than I do on the Mac, to be honest with you. Now that being said, if like Dropbox has its own text editor that I can use, and that's also nice and universal, and I can access it on the Mac or the computer or whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
What?
let's just try to stick to her question. I think
Yeah.
the
This is Brad.
question.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
do.
This is Jesse. Oh, go
Okay,
ahead.
Brad and then Jesse.
Well, there are other apps to consider for what you want to do. Drafts is a good one, and it has an iOS version, it has a Mac version, it has a Windows version, so it's multi-platformed, and you can then use it on different items. Um, Another thing, I can't remember, you was talking about going from your iPhone to what, a Mac?
to a Mac, yeah.
But you can always start it on iPhone and then open it on the Mac, and then you can copy the text out of it and then paste it into another app, um, and things of that nature. And you can do headings and all kinds of things in text edit. And I'm not sure what happens if you copy that and put it in text edit, for example, or even Pages or Microsoft Word, but that's one solution.
So you cannot do headings in text edit, and unfortunately,
No,
and
that's okay. You're right. You can't.
and so yeah, you could. That's the beauty of continuity on the Mac. You can and the iPhone. You start a note in your iPhone Notes app, and then you go to your Mac Notes app and pick that up and begin right where you left off. Similarly with email. You can start an email and then I think I did that a couple times. Starting it on one device, finishing it on another device. I still don't really, I don't know for me how notes would be all that useful, but it's definitely an option. I think the app is kind of clunky. Well, not clunky, but cluttered. There we go.
This is
Definitely.
Herbie.
Go ahead, Herbie.
The Notes app in itself is a very interesting one. Like I said, I like it a little bit better on the phone. Some of the features that I do like, I don't know if they're accessible fully. Like I know you can do checklists, for instance, with Notes, like so that can be useful for things like shopping lists and whatnot. And it's meant to be more of a note taking thing with so it's a very interesting app in itself. I don't know if everything on it is accessible to us in terms of I know we can do the checklist. I don't know if we can see easily what's been checked and unchecked off the top of my head. I'd have to go.
You can.
And I think Jesse had
Don't
a
forget
comment.
Jesse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use Notes extensively. It organizes my life. My do list goes to the Notes app. And, when you say Siri, take a new note, it goes to the Notes folder. I have about 50 or 60 other folders. And anything that goes, you tell Siri to take a note, and your do list can be in there. If someone tells you about a movie or a book, you can transfer that from the notes folder to another folder. I've got 11,000 notes in there. And
Wow. So when you tell
yeah,
Siri you tell Siri to create a note, and then it's
yes,
just a new note, but it's not in a folder.
it goes into the notes folder. There's a default folder that stays in there called the notes folder, and everything that you tell
Where
Siri
are
to
these
put in
folders housed?
In the Notes app.
In the Notes app? So you have multiple 50
Yep.
folders in the Notes app, Jesse?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
if I go from my phone to my Mac, I'll see those 50 folders.
Exactly. If you've got both of them signed into the iCloud and you've got iCloud coverage, it's it's wonderful for me because I can just pick up the Mac, make a list, and put it in the folder I want, and it happens on the iPhone.
But sometimes what I get confused about is how to, like, if I want in a folder to have subfolders, how to do that.
Okay, what I do is go push the button to go back to show all the folders, and you may not have many folders, but you go to the bottom of the list and it says create new folder, and you double tap on that with VoiceOver, and it'll ask you to name it, and then you push create, and you will have a new folder alongside
And
notes
then if
there.
you want to put a note in that folder, you do what? You open the folder and then
You can do it that way, or now
yes,
this
I
is
have to. All right.
extremely useful.
Exactly.
Let's say you're in the notes folder and you're going down, you're going note to note to note, and you find a note. Oh, I want to move this. You just swipe down until it says move, double tap it, swipe to the right till it gets to that folder, and you can move anything very, very easily and quickly
So it
from
sounds
folder to
like
folder.
in the Mac that so interesting. So you're going to your trackpad and using your swiping to move through notes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the iPhone,
Oh, just
but
the phone. Okay.
yeah, on the
It's
Mac,
just
it's very
keyboard commands.
very easy to, yeah. Keyboard strokes will get you around on notes quite
Okay.
well. Yeah.
Okay.
Are these
And
folders housed in the Finder
No,
as
they're in the
well?
Notes app.
Okay.
Yeah, they're in the Notes app. Mhm.
Now the Notes app would be in my dock, right?
If it's
Mm-hmm.
there, I don't remember.
It may or may
But
not be
if,
there, but it's always in the applications folder.
okay, so if it's in
And
the applications folder, then I would go and open it and then put it in the doc.
You
If you
can.
wanted to.
I made a
Okay.
This is
keyboard
free.
commander that opens the
Yeah,
Notes
go
app.
ahead, Shri.
I was just going to say, one of the reasons, David, I think you'll find notes very useful is sometimes you think of something really quick and, you just have your phone with you. Let's just say I put in my notes and then I go back when I get to my computer, I can retrieve that information. And maybe it was something that I wanted to write an email or write a longer document. So I use that as my quick reference. If I have something that I don't have a place to write anything, like a phone number or something, I'll just open up notes and just put it in there. And then depending on what I want to do with it, I can leave it in notes or I can use it to some other apps like Pages, Words, and other
Mm-hmm.
things.
Okay.
Robert here, comment.
Yes, Robert.
I've used notes on my phone because I used to carry index cards in my pocket to write little notes on, and that's what I use notes for on my phone. I was just at a book club meeting, and I was asked to take down we were talking about books that we're going to do for our next year, and I got to send out an email. So I wrote down the title and the author in notes, and it says book club books. And
Mm-hmm.
so I started a new note called book club books, and then I just listed the author title that the people were suggesting. And when I got back from my book club meeting, I opened up my Mac and I was able to go to that note in notes, copy it, paste it into an email that I was going to send out to all the members, even those that weren't in this particular meeting of the book club. These are the books we're going to be considering for next year. Do you have any other suggestions? Yada yada. Vote will occur at the next meeting. That kind of thing. So it's just, and then I deleted that note because I now got it in the email, and I also copied it into an archive.
Got it.
So I
Okay.
just
Thanks.
use like index cards. It used to be when you had to jot down a note. And you can use it the other way around, as somebody mentioned.
This is
Index
Eli.
cards?
Okay.
What's that? No, I'm just kidding.
This is
Never use.
Brad.
Yeah, no, for Eli. Eli, go ahead. And then
Yeah, just a small thing I wanted to add. Just I know we talked about a few different things with notes. Just worth throwing out there. It is completely integrated with all of the services. So I have my Gmail notes showing up in my notes app. They're as folders, but the cloud syncing, if you add accounts to your phone or your Mac, you will have folders that are actually cloud based. And there's Gmail, there's OneNote, there's Outlook. So if you are a user of any of those platforms, you can actually generate notes within those apps and have them sync with your Mac and iPhone. So it's kind of cool.
Now,
hold on. So we want to go to Brad. We're going to try to keep things in order here.
Well, I was going to add another thing that notes could do. You can collaborate. You can create a note and you could share it with someone. And by share it, I mean it's live. I can, for example, create a grocery list. My wife likes to write things down on a little piece of paper, and that's nice. But even if she left it where I could get to it in the kitchen, I can't really add to it. But what I can do is I can create a note and in my notes app, and I share it with her, and I can call it, Brad's list, whatever I want to call it. So she can be at the grocery store and she's like, oh yeah, let me check and see what he wanted. Did he put anything on
instead
there?
of
What's
a
new?
text list. Okay.
And she can go through the list and she can actually, yes, that the checklist. Now that's another thing. She could check it out, or she could simply get what's on the list and delete it. So it's no longer on the list. And this, as long as she doesn't delete the note is there. And I can always go back and add stuff to it later. Or I can look at it and see, okay, that this stuff is now gone from the list. That means she got it. So,
So
just things
somehow
like
you
that.
can mark it off. All
Yeah,
right.
we can
So
we can figure out a system that works for us. But anyway, the point is, I can think of stuff in the middle of the night, and I can just add it to my list, and then when she's at the store, she can she could see what's on the list and deal with it.
All right. So Davita's
right.
working on her Mac education. One last quick question.
Yeah, and then we need to move on.
Am I right in saying that I could go to the menu bar and go to Go and find the list of apps there? Am I recalling that correctly?
No.
We're going to get into
No.
Finder next week. So
Okay,
hold
got it.
on.
Okay.
And we'll also be talking about folder structure. I do not use the Notes app, but concepts, files, and folders will apply to Notes. So
Okay,
just hold
great.
on. And
Thanks.
just a gentle reminder, please announce your name before you make a comment. Wait after you announce your name for me to acknowledge you, and then go ahead. So who would like to ask our next question?
Misty.
Yes, Misty. I figured you might want to ask us something. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to go back to when the lady was talking about settings because I was last on here and I was talking about how to go to my software update. Well, when I went into my settings and I went to menu and it said to type in and I kept typing in SO for software and it kept telling me no result.
Okay.
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad, go ahead.
Software update is in system preferences. So like we mentioned a little while ago, one of the quickest
I
ways
have
to
that.
find it.
Yeah.
Well, go to the dock, type SY or SY at the first few letters of system, and you'll put your focus on it. And then once your focus is on there, rather than open system settings from right there, you will open the shortcut menu using VO Shift M. And it's going to have a long list of both categories and subcategories within the system settings. So, for example, software update, if you type SO or SOF, you'll find it. But if you open system settings, you have to go to general, then navigate over to the list of general, and then go through that to find it. But if you
And that was the thing I couldn't find the general.
if you just go to system settings in the dock and open the shortcut menu, it'll have like 40 something items, I believe is what it has now, 43, something like that. It may be different because some Macs have, depending upon if it's a desktop, laptop, you may have things that aren't always there in another Mac. But if you type SOF, you will take you directly and then hit enter or VO spacebar. It will open up software update and you will be right where you need to be.
Okay. Because I was looking for general and I couldn't find it. I was opening up everything, could not find it.
But it's in system settings, not
Yeah,
the
I went to
Finder.
system settings, but that was the thing. I didn't know what to do after that.
Yeah, so
This is
instead
Eli.
of going, oh, go ahead, Eli.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say if you already open system settings, it does change that context menu on the dock. And just something we keep harping on is that menu bar is fantastic. So if you jump to the menu bar with VOM, you can go to the view submenu. You can just press V and it'll jump to it. And then down arrow into that, it is the exact same menu as the context menu.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
And that'll do the software update. Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Misty. Okay. Who would like to take the floor for another question?
This is Sri.
Okay, Shri, go ahead.
So I have a text edit question. So as I'm typing along text edit, for some reason, voiceover stops. And then when I down arrow, it just starts reading like one word.
Oh.
But I turn voiceover off, and then it just goes back to everything like it's normal.
This is Herbie.
Okay, Herbie and then Brad.
I've had it do similar things to me too recently, and sometimes either turning off voiceover and turning it back on or playing with the quick nav usually solves the problem, but it's a little bit frustrating.
This is Shri.
Yes, Shri.
So am I hitting a unique key that is causing it to behave in that manner, or is it just something else? Because I
The
feel like I'm
bug.
typing really fast. I'm hitting something.
Brad, I think you were
The
saying.
bug. It's existed at least in Ventura and now in Sonoma. I don't remember if it existed in Monterey. I have found that oftentimes I'll be using it and I can be typing just fine, but all of a sudden I can't navigate up or down. It does just like what you described. You can either cycle voiceover on and off, or I have found that if I just command tab away from the note text edit to another app or to the Finder and then back to text edit, everything works fine again. I don't know what it is. Maybe you can call your friends at Apple Accessibility and they'll get right on it. I don't know. It's just, it has been doing this now for, you know, more than just Sonoma. I know it did it in Ventura.
I
It's
have
a
a
bug.
problem with kind of the left and right arrows when I'm sometimes, and it can happen in more than just text edit, but I've definitely seen it in text edit the most where, I'll be trying to navigate and I might, it, left and right arrow, even if quick nav is not on, if quick nav is off, pressing left arrow and right arrow will move forward by word. And then, like you said, taking focus away or
Yeah, this is
restarting
Herbie.
puts the focus back. Yeah, go ahead, Herbie.
Yep, I've noticed that exact same thing, and it's kind of very weird and very distracting. So,
Doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's very
no.
frustrating. Okay. One of the things we do on this call, if we don't answer questions, we all confirm that we have the same bugs.
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
I wonder if this is one of those situations where, but the problem is like I struggled with how to do this, like with getting a screenshot to Apple Accessibility, like the next time it happens.
Right.
Would that tell them anything?
I don't know.
And then somebody else besides Shri also had a question, by the
Oh,
way.
that's
So
right. Yeah. Who was wanting to ask a question?
This is Marcy.
Marcy. Okay, go ahead.
So I recently purchased the Loopback and Audio Hijack bundle for the Mac, and it's asking me about the ACE. So can you tell me, please, what I need to do to put my
this
Mac
is
in
Herbie.
ACE? Okay.
Herbie.
Oh, thanks, Brad. Brad knows the answer
Yeah,
to this too.
I said your name earlier too.
Herbie
It
has more
just
practice at it than
he
I do.
does. He
I can
exactly.
figure it out, but
Okay,
Herbie knows off
Me
the top
too.
of his
Those were my
head.
exact words.
Okay,
What is
I've
she
only
saying?
actually okay.
Ace?
So just to
Audio capture
clarify,
engine.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
so a couple of things I want to clarify. First of all, most of my practice has actually been helping other people. I've only
Yeah.
had two hands-on experiences with it myself, one on my Mac and one on somebody else's. So my hands-on experience is actually very limited. So some people may
You
have more
have,
hands-on experience.
I have only done it on my two. Actually, I only remember doing it on one of the Macs. I don't know why I didn't have to do it. Maybe because I had it longer than this was required. Anyway,
Because anyway, but what you have to do is, and this is something that you probably, especially unless you're really comfortable with navigating the Mac, you probably might want to have me like help you over the phone. But you have to go into system recovery. There's two different modes that you can boot into, and I forget off the top of my
I at
head
least
which
knew that
one.
one. It's the less secure, I think, right?
Well, hold on. Well, there's a matter of like there's like there's two different disks you can boot into, and it matters which one you go into when you get into
yeah.
system recovery. And then
Yeah, it's
once you get in there, you have to go into the menu bar, and then yeah, you can. It's going into the. I think it's the startup, and then like selecting like less secure mode and all that. Um,
And
but
VoiceOver talks you through all of that?
Oh
yes,
yes.
Okay, excellent. All right, then.
It's
Well, I guess we'll get
accessible for
together.
sure.
yeah, let's get together and I'll actually walk you through it on the phone, so that way, if I can get you out of any trouble that you might get into. But yeah, we'll have to go into the
And the
system
good news
recovery.
is
So
it's one of those things that you'll do it once and you won't ever have to do it again.
Yeah,
Yep.
That was so
instead you'll be
funny
like us and you'll
because
be saying Herbie.
And
because I
supposedly
knew.
they are.
Email me and let me know when there's some good times for you and we'll get together. So
But I
Okay.
think
'Cause
actually was Jasmine trying to say something? Or
Oh, I just said it was in options, and then I agreed with Herbie that it was in the startup thing. I just actually recently did it the other day, so I haven't like
startup
set it
disk
up yet.
utility. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Eli.
yes, Eli.
Yeah, actually, so Marcy, I sent you the instructions from Rogue Amoeba, and basically that, even though it's not voiceover specific, you can navigate everything in utility, and I think great recommendation is to have Herbie or somebody that's done it on the phone to have you, because you won't be able to stay in the operating system while you do it. You need to reboot and then hold the power button to get into that recovery mode, but you can certainly pop voiceover on, and it's fantastic.
Yep.
excellent. Looking forward to it then. Yay.
All right.
Well, I don't know that I
Now,
look
my question
forward
for
to
you
it,
is
but
which M command do you think we use to get into the menu bar to find the startup utility when we're in recovery mode?
Just VOM.
Very good. Very good.
That was Jasmine, huh?
I know it was.
Yeah.
She's
And I
nice.
think maybe Brad was going to say something or
oh, I just did.
He did say
Yeah,
it
it
after
works.
me. Yep.
Yeah, once you're in, it's the same. It works the same as normal.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
just you have to boot into. It's
It's
kind
not
of
what
like
to look
the
for
it's kind of
and
like the Windows experience version of the CMOS. Only this is completely accessible.
Wow,
It's
that's
better
awesome.
than it used to be in pre Apple Silicon days. There you could get into it and you could use VoiceOver, but not everything was accessible in the Intel days. This is much better.
okay, because whenever I
Excellent.
had to do
I
stuff on
found
the
everything
system,
access.
yeah, I was going
Oh,
to say the same thing.
Well,
maybe
there was
not
the
the
part
safe boot or whatever.
where you had to pick your disk and it didn't tell you. You had to see which one had the circle around it. And that was tricky.
Oh, you could kind of just memorize where they were,
That's
which
what I
one
mean. You
was.
could
Yeah,
memorize
that's
it,
true.
but
Yeah.
it was
Okay,
tricky.
that might be why that menu confused me too, in because it became accessible on the other one. So I was like, I've never seen that
Hmm.
before. So, all right.
That's true. All right.
Thank you guys.
yeah. Well, to bring things down to a beginner or any level, what does anyone
Beginner.
else? What?
Marcy's a beginner.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a
Well,
beginner, Marcy.
that's true. Loopback is kind of a specific
But Marcy's going
audio
to be
geek
connecting
thing.
Clubhouse and streaming, but then not too long. So
This
and
is Desi.
Yes, Desi.
I just wanted to come back and thank everyone who helped me with my system update. It is updated. I am now on
Yay.
Yay.
14.4.1. So,
Very
Yay.
Yay.
Woo.
good.
and
Excellent.
Designator, when are you going to ask me for help with how to connect Loop and Zoom and Clubhouse and all that?
well, I don't have audio hijack right now, but if I get that, I could do that.
You don't need Loopback is what connects Zoom and Clubhouse. Audio Hijack
Oh,
is what
Zoom and
lets you
Clubhouse. Yeah, yeah,
stream.
yeah.
Audio
No, but I
hijacking you
can't
for
stream that
streaming.
way. Yeah,
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 you can't stream, but
yeah.
you can connect. You just can't stream. So
But here's another thing. Once you do what Marcy's talking about, uh, set up for the audio capture engine ACE for loopback, it's already set up, and you don't have to
yeah,
do it for
Desi's already
any.
set up for that.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
Yeah,
just
you
needs to
don't have to
purchase
do it
Audio
for any
Hijack.
other Rogue Amoeba product. It's done.
Okay.
Because they all share the ACE.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, it'll be a breeze to get Audio Hijack set up, and we can
Yeah,
get you up and
actually,
running. Too.
streaming was the easy part. It was the other stuff
Club
was the
Deck.
hard part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have to honestly tell you, I'm not particularly interested in the Clubhouse stuff, but I definitely would like to learn how to stream. So, anyway,
Then you need to do the club because
that's
sometimes you have
just
to
me.
connect them,
Right.
stream them.
We still
Well,
use some of the similar concepts anyway. So
yeah,
it's
that's fine.
yeah.
Setting up loopback was the tricky part. Once I got that done, and like Herbie, helping teach other people how to get it set up and doing it, and I had to work with ACB Media at the DC leadership, and we broadcast that, and I had to convince the ACB Media guy the problem wasn't the Mac.
Yep.
Oh
It was
boy. Okay.
his mixer board wasn't right.
Eh.
And did you convince that person?
Not really. He doesn't know that it wasn't a problem.
Oh,
I
He
have
just
another
knows.
Mac question.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
Let's go
Let's
back to
take it.
Mac
Yeah,
questions. Yes.
So when I purchased the Audio Hijack Loopback bundle, I copied all of the information from the web into a text edit document. Where do my text edit documents reside when I save them?
this is
Herbie.
Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
By default, they land in your documents folder, but if you expand the disclosure triangle, you can customize where they get saved to. But by default, they're in documents.
Okay, so by default, they blend in your documents folder.
Well, you might check that
Hmm.
because mine there is a text edits folder that is
Yeah.
created in iCloud Drive,
Yep.
and mine were going in there until I changed
I've
where I
seen
wanted
that
them to
too.
go. So look in your documents folder and look in look in iCloud Drive and see if you have a text edit folder.
Okay. Thank you
Great
again.
question, though. Oh, what's that?
That's me.
Oh.
I just turned on my loop back.
Oh, okay.
It's contagious.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh no, is
Sorry.
Herbie streaming something to the wrong channel? Wow,
No.
Herbie wasn't the culprit. I was wanting to blame him, but okay.
No,
Show you how you can prevent that, Pete. We'll
That's
talk about
right.
that later.
I'm on my phone. I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. So
Okay, fair enough.
I'm completely innocent this time.
I did it on
Set up. I
purpose.
could sit here and play music on my music app, and you guys wouldn't hear it.
Nope.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, does anyone
I can play
have?
mine, and you people will hear it. So there.
Yeah.
You could both play it, and we'd hear both of you at the same time if Brad had his piped in through loopback, and then I could pipe in mine. And
That's
Oh
right.
boy.
I had to
No,
fix
that sounds
mine.
terrible.
Uh-huh.
That sounds
Well,
like
I had to
Bling
fix
loop
mine
back.
because
and then
if
to
I
make it
mess
even
up,
more fun, we'll all have our original sound off. And then if you really want to know what madness is like,
This is Jesse.
Okay. Yes, Jesse.
So I've
Bring us
I've
home,
been
Jesse.
out of the loop too long,
Yeah.
and I forget what loopback actually does.
digital mixer.
All
Instead of a
right. Who
physical
wants?
mixer board, it's digital.
Okay, I know about mixer boards. Okay, so you can take several signals and control their relative volumes.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Somebody can. Not I.
so this is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
All right, so now let's see. Let's see. Is everything working here?
Are you
Hold
going
on,
to
guys.
answer the question?
Oh, I am.
This is an AC.
Oh,
No.
So anyway, you were asking what does loopback do?
He was asking what, yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
So loopback is basically a software mixing board. So it lets you put multiple sounds together into one bundle. So for instance, I have a mic mixer that has my microphone. It has the music app. It has QuickTime. It has VLC. And I have Zoom pointed to that mic channel. So whatever, and I can disable something or enable it within the session that I created. So
Okay, so you can have like several apps in there simultaneously and mix how loud you want each of them. Okay, that tells me what it is. Thanks.
And then you can even do more complex stuff with it too. Like we use it to merge Zoom and Club Deck. So that way we can patch calls into Clubhouse, and Zoom and Clubhouse can literally talk to each other. So
that's cool.
Some people may not know what Clubhouse is, but it can also be used simply for sharing. That's how I share my audio for my presentations, my class presentations. So lots of different things.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. Who would like to ask another question?
I've got one about notes on the Mac.
Okay.
So, no. So I've been having problems VoiceOver's been reading notes. If I write a note on the Mac, type it in, it doesn't pronounce the words right. It's like it's breaking
Yes,
up the words. Oh, you okay? You've
this
had
is
the same
Brad.
experience, Brad?
I've been experiencing that for quite a while. That is something that I do not like about the Notes app.
Yeah.
It seems to correct itself when I'm done writing the note. I close out the
Mhm.
Notes app and come back, everything reads fine. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
if I write
Yeah.
a word, if I misspell it, and then I go in and correct the way I spelled the word, even if I just delete the whole word and start over, it pronounces it very strange. And
Yeah.
I check it, it's spelled correctly. I don't know what it's doing,
Yeah.
and it's
It
just weird.
it's yeah, it's like it's breaking the words into something like
Yep.
four characters, and it'll read those four
Yeah,
characters
it reads it
within a
weird.
larger word.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
yeah. Uh, I guess you do a screen recording with Apple Accessibility and send it in to them.
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
The one time I tried sending a screenshot to Apple, it did not work. So I found the process a little bit confusing myself as they gave some instructions that didn't quite match up, and then when I did, I tried to send it. I tried to use mail drop to send it, and it just didn't get out of the outbox. So,
Yeah.
if
Oh,
anybody's
you mean a
having
screen recording,
a
right?
screen recording, yep. Well,
Okay.
they wanted a particular screenshot, and
Okay.
Doesn't do me any
yeah.
good for a voiceover pronouncing. It's like it's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
Can you do
Oh,
a
to do the
screen
screen
recording on the
recording?
Mac?
Yes.
Yes.
How?
I
This is Pete. I have
that
a
it
question.
Yeah, go
well,
ahead,
let me
Pete.
answer
How do you
that one
do a
if you want
screen
to.
recording on a Mac? Go
There
ahead,
you go.
All
Jesse.
right.
There is a key command to do it.
You do it through voice
And
recorder, don't you?
command five, maybe?
Uh,
Might be command shift five. But there's a
I think
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
it's among the screenshot commands, but I believe you'd use voice memos for it. Isn't that it?
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
I think the screen recording option actually is in QuickTime.
Maybe so. Yeah,
Makes
one
sense.
of them.
All right. Well, those bugs
This
are
is this
certainly
is
pesky.
this is
Yeah,
Brad.
go ahead, Brad.
I saw a presentation at CSUN last year, and I don't know who this guy was who was doing it, but he was going through the same kind of thing we're talking about, how to report things to Apple. And he did talk about screenshots, but of course, we're all voiceover users, so what matters is what it sounds like. And I wish I could remember how he said to create a screen recording. But yes, he had you creating screen recordings and told you how to write up your report and include the
Hmm.
attached recording with it and sending it to Apple Accessibility. Um, but does it really help? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I know.
This is Jasmine.
Okay, go ahead, Jasmine.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I tried the Command Shift 5 and it did come up and like there's a variety of options here that like include
Oh,
selecting capturing a selected window, capture selected portion, record entire screen, record selected portion, options, capture. So it looks like there's quite a bit of options here actually.
wow.
Are any of them audio?
Yeah, she said capture
Um
recording.
yeah, it said capture recording. I didn't actually
Mhm.
click it because
Right.
it
Okay.
does say record entire screen though. So,
Okay.
I
and
think
there is an
there's an option that once
option.
you get the screen, before you get the screen recording going, there's an option to turn on the microphone, I think.
Yeah.
And
See,
you
I
Oh,
didn't
need
get
that
there's
any
with
Is that
record
voiceover.
entire
iOS?
screen and record or capture it. Sorry, I was curious. So I wonder
That's
what
good.
the difference between capture and record is.
in record are, yeah.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
I've got
Herbie.
audio hijack and I can do it that way. I was just curious if there was a built-in mechanism.
Yeah, go ahead, Herbie.
I think capture might be taking like a picture, whereas
Right, that's
recording
what
would
I
be
would
like taking a
guess.
live video, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
An audio hijack will just record voiceover, but it wouldn't record the actual screen.
And what did you
Right.
say that menu or that keystroke was?
Command Shift number row 5.
Okay, that's what I tried.
I
Yeah,
just did
don't
it.
do
It brought up a
Command
nice
Shift
little menu.
F5 like I was doing.
No.
That kind of doesn't work.
You've been hanging around me too long.
Just tired, I guess. Yeah, Command Shift 5. All right.
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
This is a guy that attends a Mac help thing I do, and he used to work for DQ, and he was describing there's a way when you send an email to Apple, a certain nomenclature that you put in the subject line. You put words such as voiceover with brackets around it. Then the next word, I wish I could remember how he explained it. Voiceover, then the next criteria of the app. Anyway, you put 3 or 4, and he says when you put each one of these words in the squared brackets, when you send an email to Apple Accessibility, it reads this subject line, and because you use this proper sequencing, it automatically sends it to the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Whereas
wow.
sending an email to Apple Accessibility just says problem with this, you just writes it goes to some generic. It never gets to the people it needs to get to. And and I'm sorry that I don't remember the exact way. He'll be in the session this Saturday, and I'm going to ask him again to go over
Yeah,
this more
that's
extensively. And I'm
your.
going to take notes.
As a former student, that's your homework assignment.
Yeah,
In what session,
You were in
Brad?
the same class, Herbie.
I'll tell you. Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm
you're in the
not.
same class.
Yeah, but I'm the instructor, so
I'll
I
tell
can
you
give
later, Pete.
homework.
It's
Yeah,
I do a help session for the New York Public Library
Oh,
once a
okay.
month, and
Right. Cool.
there's a guy
Got it.
who regularly comes who used to work for DQ Systems, and he was
Okay.
talking about
I got it.
the proper way of reporting bugs
Sure.
to Apple
The
Accessibility
nomenclature is
so that the
exactly the way
people
to put it.
that need to get it actually get it.
Does an automatic sort.
Yes, Apple has that, and there's a way to write your email and how to put it in, and you use a series of terms that are each enclosed by the squared brackets and
Right.
no spaces between each thing in its own bracket.
They must be using smart folders, which we talked about
There
earlier.
you
No.
go.
Using something a lot smarter than that, I think.
Well, yeah, okay.
But yes, you're right. It is routing it through different things. Yes, you're right. So
All right. Well, you can report back to us on that, definitely. All right. Are there any other questions?
This is
is
Herbie.
Sean.
Oh, Sean, go ahead.
Yep. I am relatively new to text edit, and I've actually been using it to take, my class notes on and the questions and all that stuff. And I know that it saves to the iCloud, and the organization bug in me is going crazy because when I open text edit, I got MacBook week 1, MacBook week 2. I want to put it in a folder and put all my, MacBook classes in one folder, but I can't figure out how to make a new folder.
Ah,
Does that make sense?
it
within text
does.
edit, when you're doing save as in text edit, or just
Mm.
make it a new folder?
Just make a new folder because everything's
So,
saved in there already, but I can't find anything when I do all my scrolling that there's not an option that I can find that says new folder
Command
to
Shift
make a new
N.
folder.
Command Shift N.
It's in
Command
the
Shift
menu
M?
bar. It's in
N
the
is in
menu bar
Nancy.
under File,
Command,
and it has a
okay.
keyboard command, and it's Command
Command
Shift
Shift M.
N will make a new folder,
Command Shift N.
and it
Okay.
will be called new folder, and you're
Maybe I was doing
immediately
command.
in rename mode. So you just
Okay.
eat the
Yeah.
name.
Comes up as untitled, I think.
Same thing. Yeah, that's
No,
it. Untitled.
Right.
Windows calls it new
Command
folder.
Shift N.
It's the same
Maybe I
thing. You
was
make a
doing
folder.
command N or something. I wasn't doing Command Shift
Command
N.
N creates
Oh.
a new
Finder window.
File.
a new item,
File.
a new
Yeah.
file. If you're in text edit, Command N creates a new file.
And
A
or
document.
Command N, and I know we're all being talking out of turn. I'm sorry.
I know, sorry.
Command N creates also it opens a new Finder window, and we'll talk about that. These are great questions. It makes me look forward to teaching next week's lesson. So,
Cool.
All right.
yeah,
Command Shift N. Well, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah. This is Jesse.
yes, Jesse.
I'm just curious. Why is everybody using text edit? I mean, I use Pages. It's got more features.
This is
Text
Herbie.
edit allows you to
Okay,
save.
go ahead, Herbie.
Yeah.
Text edit is much more simpler and can do most of the basic functions you need from a Word editor. And Pages is good for when you're doing more complex things. But if I'm writing, like, say, notes for my shows, for instance, I don't need any the fancy things that Pages gives me. I just need something more straightforward.
Yeah,
And then did I hear Brad and then Pete?
Text edit will allow you to save in a variety of formats. For example, you could save in Microsoft Word. I can save in RTF, which is its default format. I can also do a keyboard command and I can convert it to a plain text TXT document. It's just very basic, very simple. Pages only saves to a Pages format. Now you can export.
No,
You
it can export it. Yeah.
to other, but that's not working in that format. Okay. You can only work in a .pages format. And then you can export your final product, but that's not working in. Text edit will let you work in Microsoft Word DOC or DOCX and a variety of other formats as well, in addition to its default RTF or plain text TXT. You can write code in in plain text, or you can even use an HTML format and you can write HTML code in text edit. It's a very versatile application. It's very nice and simple to use as well.
And I think Pete had something to say.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
My apologies.
Yeah, and we teach text edit, at least in this class, to get down the fundamentals of text reading and selecting. And, once you learn spell check and text edit, you can use it in mail, messages, pages. So a lot of these things, text edit is great. When I'm going to create formal documents, I'm going to rely a lot on headings, and text edit can't do those. So then I would use Word or Pages, but other than that, it's a really great app.
Okay.
Yep.
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
Pages is good for lots of other stuff. I know guy who wrote a book in Pages, and Pages allows him to publish it directly to Apple Books.
I've heard that.
Yes, it's an option that's in there under, I can't remember where it is. But
it's time to do my memoirs. I can see it now.
Yeah, so you can write your memoirs, and when you're finished editing them and ready to go, you can publish it, or rather submit it to Apple Books directly from Pages.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
The guy Matthew Valbrecht from the Tech Juggernaut wrote a book about the Titanic. And it's actually a pretty good book. I'm not a big fan of Matt Valbrecht's teaching, but he wrote a book and it is pretty good. And he goes through, because there's ongoing research into the wreck of the Titanic. And he has updated it a number of times over the years. So he is able to have take his manuscript, do the updates, and then he submits it to Apple Books, and it just automatically updates the copy online. Now, obviously, you have to have an account with Apple Books and go through all that with them. But that's something you can do with Pages that you can't do with anything else.
No.
That's cool.
This is Marcy.
Yes, Marcy.
Brad, you mentioned an app called Drafts. Can you tell me more about that one? Does that one allow you to do headings?
I believe so. And I believe it allows you to work in Markdown and a number of other formats. I recently got it. I haven't used it that much. It allows family sharing, and I have the paid version. I share it with my son, and he loves it. But you can get it for the Mac. You can get it for iOS apps, iPad OS, and I believe it even has a Windows version.
Oh,
When you
nice.
pay for it, um, it is good across all platforms. Um, but it's one of these that I need to spend more time with. I just haven't made full use of it yet.
So would I find it on the App Store or would I find
You
it,
can find
would
it
I
in the
download it?
Mac App Store. You can find it
Mm,
in the iOS App Store, and once you buy it on one device and pay for it, you just sign into well, you like on the Mac, you're signed into the App Store with your Apple ID.
right.
And so then when you go to your iPhone and download it, it just knows you're already signed in.
Thank you.
And so it's supposedly pretty nice. I need to make more use of it.
Hmm.
And then I
Definitely
won't use
something to
TextEdit
check out.
anymore. No, that'd be terrible. It's bad. It's
Oh,
just a habit. I just use TextEdit. I need to start
me
learning.
too.
I need to use the other.
All right. Does anyone else have a question?
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie?
So I was playing with this on the phone last week and it was kind of getting nowhere, but I'm just curious in general. Has anybody played with the collab feature on Pages?
The what feature?
You
The
can
collab. I've
collaborate.
Collaborate.
invited
Hmm.
I've invited people to do it, but like I so
Who's
Eli
this?
and oh, this is Jasmine. I
All
apologize.
right.
Go ahead,
Um
Jasmine.
but so I invited so I shared the Mac notes that I had this was a while ago, but like I've kind of played with it a little bit, but I haven't really we haven't really gotten into it a whole lot. So I don't really nobody that I've shared it with has really done anything with it. So I haven't really experienced what that's actually like. But yeah, it's pretty cool though. You can share it with people, and this is they can collaborate in real time, and it shows if they've accepted it and stuff. So that's cool.
This is Deanna. I
Yes,
could get
Deanna.
in there and see it and copy what she had and paste it into my own document, but I didn't know what to do in there.
This is Brad.
Yes,
Yes.
Brad.
If it's anything like collaborating in the Notes app, it's just you select share or collaborate, and then you put in the you know email address or phone number or whatever your
Yeah.
contact info for the other person, and they get a notification. They accept it. They can open the document, work on it. When they're done, you open it. You see what they did. I believe that the two of you can even have it open at the same time and
Yeah,
be
and it would
working
give you
on
a
it.
notification. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
got an
Okay.
email when she
yeah, a
So
yeah.
this is
notification.
Herbie. Like when I tried writing in the document the other day that was shared with me, like they did not see the changes I made. So
Hmm.
now granted this was on the phone,
Hmm.
so maybe that matters, but
So did they like share it with you, or did they just command C and then command
they actually
V into
shared it
your
with me. Like I got the invite and everything and I accepted it.
This is Pete. How do you distinguish between his and hers input?
I don't think you do.
You know,
I
Oh.
don't think I do
Maybe
either.
a
might be
track
different
changes
colors
feature.
if you're sighted,
Well, there
but
could be a
Right.
track changes feature like in Microsoft Word, I imagine.
or maybe a different
I think there
voice. I
is,
wonder.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is Eli.
I don't know.
Yes, Eli.
Yeah, so I'm just in experience with Office. There's actually, in order to real time collaborate, where you can quite literally see what the other person is typing and it just locks the current line they're on.
Mm-hmm.
Autosave needs to be enabled, so it may be that you have to
Mm-hmm.
manually save it after you make this edit, Kirby. And then I had a question as well.
Okay, that's fine.
Um, Basically, it's an odd one, but on the Mac, I know that you can use your Mac as a speaker for your iPhone, but is there a way to pass the audio from the iPhone to the Mac?
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
Yes. If you go to AirPlay, you should see your Mac as one of the options.
Will that push voiceover through as well?
No. If you want to do that, what I suggest is plug your phone into the Mac, then bring up QuickTime. Do a Command Shift. Well, you may have to close out what's open in QuickTime first. Do a Command Shift N. And then in that window, you're going to see like a list of microphone sources, and your iPhone will be one of them. Make sure your phone is unlocked. So, and you've told it to trust the computer and all that, so it'll see it. And then, then there's going to be a volume slider to the right of it. By default, it's set to 0. So you want to change it to like 80 or 100, and then most everything on your phone will be passed through to your
Music does not go through.
music does not. Phone calls do not.
Just voiceover.
Siri does not.
Correct.
But voiceover will. A lot of apps
Voiceover
will.
sound effects do not go through.
Okay, excellent. I appreciate that.
All right, excellent questions.
Now, this is Herbie.
Yes.
There is an app from Rogue Amoeba called Airfoil, and I wonder if that would allow more to pass through than what QuickTime does.
Good question.
This is Eli.
Yes,
Yep.
Eli.
That's an iOS based app that you
No, it's
you would communicate?
a Mac app
Okay, but
from
same
Rogue
fundamental
Amoeba.
idea with what you're doing with QuickTime. You would just
Yes,
pass
except
that.
it I think can do Bluetooth, and it's Rogue Amoeba, so it's possible it might allow more to go through than what QuickTime does. I've not played with it myself, but
Okay, yeah, I do have an application that will capture my audio on a PC from the iPhone via Bluetooth, so I'll have to play with Airfoil. Thank you.
you're welcome.
This is Pete. I just wanted to give you a heads up, Eli. Rogue Amoeba has a whole slew of audio-related apps, including others that we're talking about, Loopback,
He already
Audio
has Loopback.
Hijack, and you can purchase bundles. So you might want to, if you're thinking maybe you might want to explore some other things.
Let me tell you this, Pete. So this is how advanced Eli is. I just gave him some basic instructions on Loopback. He asked me about it like first week into the class, and he was showing off his skills like next review session.
I believe him. I remember talking to him a few weeks ago here.
Yeah, so
He's not
he knows all about Loopback. Figured out a couple of things I hadn't thought about doing, and so he might be the one.
Can't you buy bundles on the Rogue Amoeba website?
Yes, you can.
All 5 of them or 10 of them or something like that. Yeah.
You're very kind, Herbie. And yes, I did purchase a bundle, and maybe a throwback to Marcy's question about throwing that information in text edit. I got individual emails for every piece of software that I purchased, which I just threw into a folder in my mail. So that might also be a very accessible way to get your content, Marcy. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with the Mac lately.
So this is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
So yeah, just to not brag or anything, but I got my Mac Mini on Christmas Day, and I had a radio show to do, and that was like got inside 2 hours that I do on the Mac, actually inside of an hour. So I got the Mac set up, got Audio Hijack installed, went through the whole process of the system recovery thing, and was set up inside of an hour. And so, Audio Hijack was ready to go, and then I just didn't worry about Loopback too much later on when I was ready for it. And of course, I didn't have to repeat the recovery process or anything like that. But, so just to testify to what Brad says, like, you only need to worry about it once. So,
well, congratulations. You and Eli have been inaugurated into the Mac Audio Wizards Club.
Exactly. Self-anointed. Even if you are self-anointed.
Yeah.
I've worked out that if somebody wanted it done,
Eli didn't
I've worked out if somebody wanted it done, I could conceivably connect Zoom, Clubhouse, Discord, Team Talk, and any other app together, to where they could all talk to each other.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Be careful, they may gang up on you.
Yeah,
they
now,
may conspire
who is it I'm
against you.
talking to?
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay. I think Eli was going to say something.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a fantastic tool to have, honestly. Loopback has been great. I've already passed through Parallels and got my virtual machine Windows 11 ARM running with it. And one thing that's so neat about you talking about connecting the different apps like Zoom and Teams and so on is that I've actually applied it for teaching. So I can have somebody that is actually it's we're doing some inception stuff. So an instructor teaching another instructor with a student that's active and having one call where the audio is just the one-to-one with the instructor, and then it's instructor guided navigation where the student obviously you'd want to make them aware but they don't have to necessarily hear and undermine the student instructors kind of credibility as they learn how to navigate a new concept.
Yep.
Pretty great.
All right. Well, we have reached the end of our time. Thanks everyone for reminding of the basics and helping us stretch our minds to everything the Mac can do and then some. So, thanks for being here, and don't forget to join us later on, later this week or next month. You'll be getting a calendar of upcoming events, and Mac and Talk, the next Mac and Talk will be April 23rd, I believe. So, yeah. So, see you then.
Thank
Night,
you.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Good
Good night.
night.
Bye.
Good
Bye,
hanging out
everyone.
with you
Magnificent.
guys. It's good being back. This
Yep.
is Jesse.
Glad to have you. All right. Have a great
All right.
evening.
You
You
too.
guys as well.